Hey there, and welcome back to the Legends Leaving channel. In today's touching movie, we share the latest news about the deaths of some truly remarkable people in the last 24 hours. We also have some sad news about the famous star Michael Richards. We promise to honor and remember the people who have made a lasting difference in our lives and the world as part of the Legends Passing channel. If you feel touched by this video or the stories of these amazing people, please show your respect and remember them by giving this video a thumbs up. Thank you for being here with us as we honor and reflect. Number 10. Patrick Gotch, who got the ideas for the Cowboy Channel and RFD TV from scratch, died at the age of 70. His work had a huge effect on farming in rural areas, giving a voice and a stage to a way of life that is the foundation of America. He began his long and arduous trip in Omaha, Nebraska. He went to Sam Houston University for a short time on a baseball scholarship before trying his hand at a number of different jobs. Because he liked taking risks, he started a satellite dish business, which grew into RFD TV when he saw a need for rural-themed shows. But even though he had setbacks and went bankrupt at first, his determination and creative thinking helped RFD TV get back on its feet and become a great for-profit network. He grew his media business by starting the Cowboy Channel in 2017. It quickly became the official network of Pro Rodeo. This project not only showed how much he cared about supporting the Western and rural way of life, but it also solidified his reputation as a media pioneer. Some very important people like Taylor Sheridan praised his work and said that shows like Yellowstone were greatly influenced by Gotch's attempts to bring rural America to the attention of national media. Well-known people like Jen Landon, Garth Brooks, and Dolly Parton also sent their sympathy, showing how widely his work was thought of. Patrick Gotch will be missed by his family and remembered by many friends and coworkers. His impact will live on and inspire others. His story shows how powerful a clear vision can be and how important rural America will always be. Thoughts on Patrick Gotch? Connor Hitchens, an English featherweight boxer who used to be on Cage Warriors, has died. He was 26 years old. His death was confirmed by the promotion and the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation on Tuesday, but the reason and timing of his death have not been made public. He got off to a good start in professional mixed martial arts MMA by winning 6 of his first 7 fights. He first fought in the Cage Warriors in April 2022, but Manny Akpan beat him in the second round, which was a defeat. It turned out that this was his last fight as a professional. Before he turned professional, he had a successful amateur career. From 2013 to 2017, he had nearly 20 fights, winning some big ones over current MMA stars. People remember him for how competitive he was and what he did for the sport. In the MMA world, he made a mark that went beyond his fight record. Caruth Brown, head of the MF, said that the organization was very sad about the loss, which was shared by everyone in the sport. His commitment to mixed martial arts MMA and early promise as a fighter make the fact that he quit too soon even more sad for fans and other athletes. Even though his time in the sport was short, it will be remembered for how hard he worked in the cage and how much heart he showed in every fight. Thoughts on Hitchens? He was a committed American football coach and former player. George Papagiorgio died at the age of 68. Known for being a great coach, especially as head coach at Bethel College in North Newton, Kansas from 1995 to 1999. He made an important impact on college football. A record of 18 wins and 29 losses was the high point of his time as a coach at Bethel. He started playing football as a fullback at the University of Washington in 1978 when he played for the famous coach Don James. As a college football player, he played in 11 games, scored 5 scores, and ran for 75 yards on 87 attempts. This base set the stage for his goal of becoming a coach. After his playing days were over, he became a coach and worked with players at different schools. He worked as an assistant coach for the Washington Huskies, the Willamette Bearcats, and the Wichita Stealth Arena team. The American Football Coaches Association named him the NAIA Assistant Football Coach of the Year in 2022 while he was working at Benedictine College. This was in recognition of his important efforts to football coaching. Especially interesting was his time at Bethel College. He led the team to a 7-3 record in 1996, which put them in second place in the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference and earned him the KCAC Coach of the Year award. But he also had problems during his time as coach. For example, in 1999, the team had to give up 5 wins because an ineligible player played, which caused him to quit in the middle of the season. His impact goes beyond the number of games he won or lost. People remember him for how hard he worked to help young players and how he could motivate those around him. Players, coaches, and people in the football community will remember him fondly for what he did for the sport and the lives he changed through teaching. In honor of George Papagiorgio. 7. One of Japan's most well-known actors and character actors, Hideyuki Umezu, died at the age of 68 from interstitial pneumonia. People praised his large body of work in television animation, which brought many beloved characters from different styles to life. He was born on July 24th, 1955, and at first he wanted to be a doctor. He graduated from Tokyo Medical and Dental University. However, his love of acting made him change jobs after a friend encouraged him to try theater. In the beginning, he did traditional theater, which led him to voice acting, where he made his start in 1982. Over the years, he would lend his voice to well-known shows like Mobile Suit Gundam. The shows Naruto and One Piece, he was able to play a lot of different roles, from good guys to bad guys, and give each one a unique style that became his trademark. In addition to his animation parts, he did a lot of live-action shows, voiced characters in international movies, and played characters in video games, which made him known as an actor who could do a lot of different things. His contributions went beyond the microphone. Through his hard work and dedication, he changed the business and inspired new artists. As a member of 81 Produce, he not only performed but also taught many people how to act and do voice work by sharing what he knew and loved. He will be remembered in the Japanese entertainment business for how hard he worked at his job and how he could bring characters to life, making them memorable for people all over the world. Thanks to Hayuki Umezu. Barry Davis, an important Australian rules football player and coach, died at the age of 80. He is known for making important contributions to the Victorian Football League. He played for Essendon in North Melbourne and then coached Essendon. He started his great football career in 1961 at Essendon Football Club. He played in 218 games for Essendon and scored 65 goals. And 3 times won the club's Best and Fairest award. His guidance as captain in 1970 and 1971 was very important, and it helped the team win premierships in 1962 and 1965. Because of how important he was put on Essendon's official team of the 20th century. He took advantage of the VFL's 10-year rule to move to North Melbourne in 1973 and continued to do well there. In 1975, he led North Melbourne to their first title. His last season, adding an important part to his career before quitting professional baseball. As he moved into teaching, he was in charge of Essendon from 1978 to 1980. Even though his time as a coach wasn't always successful, it showed how much he loved the sport and the Essendon Football Club. During his time as a teacher, he focused on developing young players and planning their futures. He was also given an award in 2002. Barry Davis was honored by being ranked 15th on Essendon's Champions of Essendon list, which honors the 25 best players the club has ever had. American visual artist, builder, and sculptor James Hubble died at the age of 92. He was known for his new ideas. He was known for having a unique style that often looked like natural buildings and forms. He left behind a lot of unique naturalistic designs, such as the Onion House in Honolulu, Hawaii. In addition to designing buildings, he was also very creative with etched glass, which can be seen in many public and private places in California and other states. He was born in Mineola, New York, but as a child he lived in several states. He first became interested in art when he met the Finley family, who ran art shops that specialized in American Western art. Throughout his life, this influence was clear in the way he combined natural features with architectural design, making spaces that were both useful and interesting to look at. His work was marked by his commitment to using natural materials from the area. This is what led him to build the famous family compound of Hobbit houses in Julian, California. His work included both private homes and public places like churches and community centers. The goal of his art and building in these places was to bring people together and encourage them to do so. This artist's home and workshop were destroyed by the Cedar Fire in 2003, which was a big setback for him. Still, it didn't stop him. He rebuilt and added onto his land, which continued to show how strong he was and how dedicated he was to his work. Besides being a great builder, he was also a strong supporter of teaching about culture and the environment. He started the Ilan Lael Foundation, which has done a lot to support arts education and build public parks that celebrate friendliness and unity between countries. His works still show how much he loved bringing art into daily life. That we should look at the world through the lens of beauty and survival, thanks to James Hubble. Stanley Goldstein was an entrepreneur from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, who had a dream and died at the age of 89 from cancer. Goldstein changed the way people shop in America by opening drugstores, which didn't exist much before CVS opened in 1963. He is best known for co-founding consumer value stores, which grew into the huge CVS Health. He had a lot of great success, but at his core, he was still simple and humble. A simple life was important to him. He loved his golden retrievers wearing casual clothes and watching local sports, except for the Yankees, which he was known to hate. He was loyal to his roots by insisting that CVS's offices stay in the working-class city where he started. This showed how much he cared about his community. Besides his work at the company, he cared a lot about helping people. He believed that education could change people's lives, and the Goldstein Family Foundation gave a lot of money to educational causes. He enjoyed simple things in life, like breakfast at a neighborhood diner in Edgartown and relaxing on the boat while watching the Red Sox play. This showed how down-to-earth he was. He will be remembered for more than just his business success. He also made a big difference in his community and stuck to his family's morals. His story shows how one person can have a huge effect on society by coming up with new ideas, helping their community, and just staying true to their roots. Thoughts on Stanley Goldstein? The beloved socialist peon, also known as Marichuela, died at the age of 105. She was born in Blimia, Spain on November 17, 1918. As the last living socialist military woman, she became an important figure in the Spanish Civil War. There were hard times in her early life. After her brother was killed while the 1934 revolutionary strike was being put down, she joined the Socialist Youth of Asturias in 1936. Because she cared so much about the socialist cause, she worked as a nurse and in the military, showing a huge amount of guts and strength. She was jailed during the war and then lived in exile in France, where she continued to be politically active and helped reorganize the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party. When she went back to Spain later in life, she lived in Gijon and stayed involved with the socialist youth movement in Asturias. In her later years, she wrote memoirs that told the story of the struggles of her age and gave us important information about the Spanish Civil War and its effects. Many awards and honors have been given to her in honor of her lifelong dedication to freedom, democracy, and human rights. She used modern technology like social media to connect with more people and share her political ideas, which will serve as an example for future generations. In honor of Angels Flores Peon. Number 2, Rolf Broer, who used to be head and CEO of Deutsche Bank, died after a long illness. He was 86 years old. He played a key role in turning Germany's biggest bank into a world giant. In the 1950s, he started his work as a trainee. In 1999, he led the acquisition of US, Rival Bankers Trust, which changed the company's direction. With this $10 billion deal, Deutsche Bank showed it wanted to fight with the biggest Wall Street firms. For a short time in 2007, it was the world's biggest bank. During the years he was in charge, Deutsche Bank made a lot of money. The rapid growth did, however, cause a time of chaos after the global financial crisis. With the bank having big problems with money and the law, it took more than 10 years for his successors to get the bank back on track, which meant ending a lot of legal battles and problems with wrongdoing. Some of the things he said in a TV interview in 2002 about the financial health of media mogul Leo Kirch caused a long legal fight and a large settlement during his time at Deutsche Bank. Even with these problems, he is remembered for having a clear strategic strategy and working hard to help the bank grow. His impact went beyond his jobs at Deutsche Bank and Deutsche Stock Exchange. For example, he almost got the London Stock Exchange to merge with Deutsche Bank, which shows how much he wanted to make Frankfurt a financial hub. Thanks to Rolf Broer, what's popular on the web right now? A well-known French politician and expert named Marie-France Guiraud died at the age of 90. In the 1970s, she was seen as the most powerful woman in France because of her important roles as a private advisor to President Georges Pompidou and to Jacques Chirac during his first time as prime minister. In the 1981 French presidential election, she ran for president. This was a big moment in her political career. Besides that, she was a member of the European Parliament from 1999 to 2004. Charles Pasqua and Philippe Villiers led the list that she ran on, and she was chosen. There, she continued to shape French and European policies. In the French referendum and the 2005 French European Constitution referendum, she voted against the Maastricht Treaty and for national autonomy. She was a strong opponent of further European integration. She also wrote well and added to the conversation about politics in France and Europe through the books she wrote. Her writings, like about Europe in general and France in particular and Maastricht, why not, show how deeply she feels about important political issues. Thoughts on Marie-France Guiraud? Did you know that a famous star from the movie 9 to 5 died? Watch our last video to learn more about famous people who have died. If you want to see our most current episode, click here now. Also, don't forget to like this video to help us out. Thanks.